beep. Welcome to the court of the Edijester. I hope you're all well. Earlier on today, I posted a video which talked about a leaked email that was sent to Jordan Mom of the Good Law Project. And in that video, I highlighted the most important factor, which was that it was made quite clear in the NHS document which had been leaked that this is a safeguarding issue if a child is receiving hormones externally from the UK or being prescribed by external pharmacists. This is a very clear indication that the NHS, first and foremost, are beginning to realise that the concept of trans itself is in fact a safeguarding red flag. And I think that's a very good move. I think we're going in the right direction on that, and I think we can take some succour from it. But that leaves us in a very strange position, because we are now seeing almost tectonic shifts in the ground beneath the feet. What was that song? I feel the earth move under my feet. That's what's happening, right? Things are moving at a tremendous knot. Tremendous knots? Rate of knots. What's the rate of knots? 1.4. Right, so, talking to the warrior teachers. We've got warrior teachers now engaging and looking at over 600 schools. We've got warrior teachers now looking at what's going on within other areas of our society, including academia and the police. And we've got moves afoot to ensure that we can deal with other areas that will now need dealing with outside the main affection of gender identity, which is the NHS itself. Once we've got it's on the path, the NHS seems to be going in the right direction. We'll still have to keep an eye mind because these are sneaky buggers, right? Not only that, there's some loons at the top of this. I need to have a more close look at, and I'm going to, who are in the NHS that are running this cobblers. Dr. Michael Brady. We'll have a look at him, I think. All right, okay, so health, right? Health. And now we've got to start to look and see what's happening with education. That then breaks down further into primary, secondary, FE and HE. So that's education. We need to look at that. In addition to that, we need to look at what's happening with the police. We are fair cop are on top of that to a very great degree. I don't get involved in that because I think they do such a marvellous job and they really do galvanise people to do things. So they're looking closely at what's happening in the police and what training is being done in the police. So we now have a situation where we've got around these other areas, the police, the judiciary, the civil service. Yep. So the civil service, which is a socialist state within a state, by the way, it needs gutting. It needs absolutely gutting. That's a place that needs an enema. Civil service, police, the education sector, and the different split areas of the education sector are the key battlegrounds moving forward from our perspective. So the one thing that ties them all together are external service providers. Now, Kemi Badenoch and her team have put together a tweet asking for us to give examples of public sectors where they're misrepresenting the Equality Act, or indeed maybe pushing falsehoods such as trans and gender identity ideology and queer theory and all the critical social justice stuff. I think it's going to be very hard not to tackle all of this at once. If we're going to do this, we've got to tackle the lot. That's one of the most important things. Remember what I did about the TEAT? The postmodern critical social justice TEAT. Critical race theory, extreme environmentalism or critical environmentalism, critical gender, all that, gender identity ideology, queer theory, all of these vapid things that are happening in the universities that need to be defunded. But there's one thing that sort of coalesces around it, and that is that it comes from academia. We know this. Now, a lot of the people that were in academia that have been taught by nutter professors about, gender and sex and race, all these grievance mining nonsense mongers, we saw this very clearly, if you remember, in the Evergreen State affair with the marvellous Heather Haying and Brett Weinstein, who has been categorically exposed by a very great documentarian called Mike Nyana. So we've seen this before, and now it's time for us to look at how we can make the most impact in schools, businesses, in each sphere, and that has to be the private training companies. Now, I recently did an expose of one particular moronic session at the CIPD that you may have seen, and that was banned by YouTube. But if you go to my Twitter, you'll find it in all its gory glory. I'll pin it to my Twitter profile. You can pin multiple things now, I think. Or just search my Twitter profile for CIPD. And then you'll find it's 55 minutes, but it's made of 3 videos. So I seem to change clothing in between. But you'll get what I mean, right? So now we've got this problem. The private providers, to schools, to businesses, to the NHS, the police. That's where we need to be looking now at stopping this. And I believe that we can we can state that most of these private providers have a finger in either education, in either the public sector or private sector. But private sector that supplies services to the government, so quangos and stuff like that, go up the line, right? Because remember, the public sector equality duty, which is also part of this, means that they must push equality of opportunity, not equality of outcome, which is equity. So if they're doing stuff for the public, they're covered by that. Now, from a business perspective, if you're a business and you're going to approach the businesses, the best way is to talk about the damage that their reputation is going to suffer if they continue to push trans, their reputation, and also the damage that will be done to them in the public square from a PR perspective. So that's what I would go for with business. With the public sector, you don't have to worry so much about that because they're covered by the PSED, and also the Equality Act being misrepresented is a very serious thing. So I'll put all the links down below, but you can now send Kemi Badenoch's team information about erroneous training providers or erroneous guidance being carried out by public sector organisations or private sector organisations with a public remit. So this is something that we should focus on very clearly, very clearly. We should identify and name them. We should make a list of these groups. And once we've got the list, we then know who it is we're targeting, find out who owns the company, and then we go for them. Now, that's my thinking, right? Your thinking might be different. Now, but I think once we've done that, the next stage is to begin the campaign. And I'm hoping that the various groups that are going to join us to repeal the GRA and end this once and forever. We must go back to pre-2004 and then make sure it never happens again, which is we define sex clearly. Right, we define sex clearly, and then gender can go and do what it wants. Who cares? I don't care what they wear. Do you? I don't care. Wear what you want, but don't come into work looking like some, tart from Peking. Does Peking even exist anymore? It does as a duck. Don't come into work dressed like a duck. So I think that's where we're going. You can let me know in the Dubris, but I think it's time to recognise. In our sites, private providers of training of this need to be next, and there will be hundreds of them, and they've been creaming it off the public purse for a very long time. Edijester, go and have a look at them. Just go and look at one, Edijester. Millions in public money. Millions. They're worth looking at, right? What about... There's loads of them in there. True gender this and gender that and gender up your backside. LGBT love bomb associates. I don't care who they are, right? And that's what we do next, right? So we absolutely go for the organisations that are providing training, including Stonewall, the LGBT Foundation. That's what we've got to do, and we have to alert businesses. And I would suggest that you contact your local Chamber of Commerce. We have to alert businesses, particularly the smaller ones, which the Chamber deals with, to the fact that there will be great reputational damage in pushing trans or LGBT in the future, and that they need to go back to talking about gays and lesbians if they need to do it at all. They don't, right? Now, the other thing is we need to demonise affinity groups. That's going to be really important. So if your workplace has got an affinity group and they've got a feedback system that may or may not be anonymous, it's time for you to say we need to end any affinity group that is based on identity. So there's just a few pointers I think can take us forward. I could be wrong, and as usual, you can tell me. All right? And that, go away. I've got to move my shoulders today. So you get older, everything starts to seize up. Couldn't open the front door this morning. I'll see you later. Go and have some fun. Bye.